Hey everybody, we're live. I'm so excited. I've got the bundle queens here for the bundle panel. Very excited. Welcome to Business Power Hour. We're going to be talking about hosting bundles and using bundles as a list growth strategy. Somebody's mic is making weird noises. Is that, do you guys hear that or is it me?
I did hear something.
Okay.
How about now?
Yeah, that's better. So for those of you guys that don't know, I have been using the strategy to grow my email list that I have loved. And I actually learned it originally from Kate when I hired her as I was saying, you were like my first one-on-one business coach I ever hired. And I learned this strategy from her that was like freaking genius. And I've been doing it ever since. And we've built my email list to over 14,000 people. And a big way that we have done that is by hosting bundles and summits, but especially the bundles. The bundles are really our biggest list builders, like more than the summits. Like for us, for my business specifically, the bundles have just done really, really well. And this is a great strategy for those of you that are like, I don't want to do social media. I don't want to pay for ads. It's like there's only so many ways to get the volume you need. If you guys are wanting to make full-time income, like we're talking about bill paying money, you need a certain amount of volume. It's like, yeah, you can make some money with a small audience, but there has to be people coming and there has to be new people coming from somewhere, right? Otherwise, you'll get a few people and you'll tap them out. And so you've always got to be adding new people to sell to into your little audience. And there's only so many leverage points. So it's like, if you don't want to do social media and you don't want to do ads, I'm like, this is the strategy for you. I'm really excited to talk all about it and we'll get all into it today. You guys want to just go ahead and introduce yourselves really quick, just for people that don't know you or aren't familiar with you? Kelsey, you want to go?
Go ahead, Kate. Oh.
Everybody's too polite.
So polite. Go ahead, Kate.
All right. Hey, everyone. I am Kate Dostler, katedostler.com. I've been hosting bundles since 2019. I went and did the math the other day. Since 2019, we've actually been hosting the business bundle. It was in one of our first bundles, actually. I think she did quite well from it. She's like, oh my God. Faith, I think it was you and Naima where your email service provider tapped out and like,
I was like really shocked by it, to be honest. And I had just started working with Kate and she was like, oh, we're going to be having the back to business bundle and the back to business. She kept talking about it. I was kind of like, yeah, I mean, we're going to do it. Like, okay. And then I got like, I don't know, like 400 subscribers the first hour it was live. And that was crazy to me. I was like, and I had a very small email list at that time. I only had like a couple thousand people on the list for like business. So I was like, what is happening? And ever since then, I was like, this is like really smart. I was like, hey, is Kate Dostler a genius? And from that moment on, I knew Kate was a business ninja. And I've been listening to her advice ever since.
Well, thank you. I just think, and we're updating sales page that we have for our course on bundles, but like bundles are business changing. Like it's not only like for you as the host because you're going to get so much exposure, but for your contributors, again, going from like a couple of thousand to like doubling that in a week to people is huge. But then like all of the other people's lives that you are helping with this gift, like, and we do B2B. So like now I'm helping all these other business owners who are the ones that register for the bundle. And then they're going to go and help their people. Like the trickle effect, like it is literally business changing. And I feel like so like grandiose saying that, but like it just straight up is.
It's my favorite. Like we do them all the time now. So we do them for my business and we also run them for my clients. So we run them for the mastermind. You have to be in the mastermind to be in them or pay a fee to be in them. But that's why, because I'm like, oh my gosh, we have to run that for them too. Because it's like it's just such a good strategy. And then what about you, Kelsey? You want to just do a quick intro to all things Simply Bentley?
Yeah, so my name's Kelsey Bentley. I came on to Team Faith Mariah, just had my anniversary in November, and it was super fun.
I should have sent you like flowers or something. I feel like a bad boss.
So instead I got to redo the Holiday Abundance Bundle. That was my anniversary bundle.
That sounds like a Faith Mariah anniversary. Happy anniversary. Here's some annoying work to do.
But yeah, so I figured it up, and between your bundles and a couple of other bundles and events that I have run, in the past year, I've worked with over 500 contributors, organizing, getting them all the information they need, all that kind of stuff, and just helping to kind of make the back end process of things very easy and making them easy to contribute to for people.
Yeah, we get a lot of compliments about Kelsey, and we get a lot of really good feedback about our events, just about that they're well organized, that people like doing them, that they're easy to be in. And that's all a testament to Kelsey. She really runs everything on the back end. And then I just do as I'm told. I always just say, Kelsey, I work for Kelsey and Rebecca. I just do, she'll be like, make this. I'll be like, okay. Swipe copy coming up, boss. No, but she's really in charge of it. She really runs the show. When you guys see the next level U summit we're going to be doing for the mastermind, we've got the Revitalize and Thrive bundle coming, we've got Get Your Freebie Done week. All of that is organized by Kelsey. And so if you guys want to ask, if you have any questions about organizing, about how to keep things organized, anything like that, she's definitely the person for that, and we'll get into all of that. But I'd love to hear from you. One of the questions I got in the group, and one of the things I hear people say a lot, is like, if I want to be in other people's bundles, and they're like, okay, I want to dip my toe into the bundle pool. And they're like, maybe they're not ready to start their own, but they're like, I'd like to maybe start looking around at being in other people's bundles. But the number one question I hear, and I'm sure you guys get it too, it's like, how do I find them? So what are you guys' thoughts on that for people that want to get started in the bundle game? What are your recommendations?
Well, mine would be, I've got two. Number one is go make friends with people. I know one of the big complaints is that it is a little more challenging sometimes for people to find those B2C bundles. But if you have...
That was literally the exact comment, the following follow-up comment that I was having with this person.
Always people are saying that, which I'm just saying, you know,
Do
you
your
can
own.
join the mastermind or do your own. Exactly. Make friends and then join bundle specific groups. There are a lot of groups on Facebook that allow people to promote their bundles. And I think because those B2C bundles are sometimes not as promoted or seemingly readily available, people are excited to have contributors for them. So go make friends.
That's a good tip. What about you, Kate?
I absolutely love that one. So one of mine was going to be like, well, join Faith's mastermind. I think the doors are closed though. I don't know. You guys know the owner. Maybe she'll let you in. I don't know though. Faith is very much in integrity.
She won't let you in. She's not that nice.
So, then when it comes to that, because I was going to say built-in bundle right there. And with that whole being able to like make friends, you'll be able to like ask people like, hey, are there any bundles going on right now? One of the companies that I know, and we've been in their bundles and participated, is the Ultimate Bundle people. They do like the Genius Bloggers Toolkit, but they have like different themes and they do a lot of B2C ones as well. So kind of like dipping your toe in, because like what ends up happening is like once you start contributing to bundles, when hosts are looking for people, they're going to look at my bundle, Faith's bundles, other bundles other creators have in there, the Ultimate Bundle, and they're going to be like, oh, if this person has participated in one of these, chances are they'll be one of mine. Oddly enough, speaking in summits, because when you're speaking in summits and you're actually getting out there for bundles, it's going to show that you really do like collaboration and that you're more likely to say yes. But my answer to that is always be the change you want to see. Just host your own. In all honesty, you can be you and like 5 other people that you're friends with and host a free bundle, because that's the one that you'll get the best result. We've had someone literally in 2 weeks. It was with her, 5 of her clients, and they had an amazing time. They each got a couple extra 100 people. They were able to do their launches afterwards, and they were really happy. So I always say, be the change you want to be, but also make friends. Again, where there's contributors, where people can pitch, where you can connect. Any group has a thread that like in search of, literally just put like, I want to join a bundle that helps these people and this people. Here are my 3 areas of expertise. And then it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. That's always my tip too. And I had a whole there was a couple years ago where I had this whole pity party about this, where I would see everybody on Instagram like speaking at summits, and I would be like, I feel like I'm a good speaker. Like, why don't I get invited to anything? And I would just be like, where are they all? You guys know how we do that on Instagram when you go to Instagram and you're like, everybody but me is getting invited to speak. And so I was doing that, and I would have that thought often where it was just like, why do they all get invited? Why don't I ever get invited? And then when I started hosting my own summits, I got invited to so many things that following year. So I really think a lot of it is like when you are a host and you have places for people to collaborate. That's why I love doing this show also, because I've met so many entrepreneurs doing this show. And I get invited to speak at way more things because I'm always inviting people to come on our show and come in our bundle and come in our summit and do my affiliate launch. And I'm always inviting people to do things. And so I think about it like if you want to be invited, you probably should think about how you could be inviting because people really do reciprocate that. And I believe a lot in the law of reciprocity, like what you put out, you get back. So when you're giving people opportunities to speak and you're giving people opportunities to collab, they're going to think of you when they hear people looking for speakers and stuff first. So I think that's a great tip, Kate. Like be the change you want to be. For sure. That's always my tip. And then for B2C too, I'm like, if there's no bundles in your niche, I'm like, that's like blue ocean for you, my friend. I'm like, you get to be like the one. Like you could be the person that does that and really build a reputation around that. And I think the opportunity outside of B2B for B2C is like huge. I think people are starting to kind of, I think we're going to see a big shift in the next couple of years with people doing more and more of it because it's such an effective strategy. What do you think for people that are like, okay, I want to be the change, Kate.
Yeah.
but like this seems really hard and like a lot of work. I know you said you're like, you don't need that many people, but what would you guys say for like tips for people hosting their first bundle? Your like couple hot tips you would give people that have never hosted a bundle but are just getting started.
Okay, so a couple of things to make your life easier because I did mine before I had Abby as my right hand lady. I call her Mark Wife. She's also the one in charge. She told me I had to write a landing page today, so I was before I got here.
Oh, you do. You get a business and then you hire VAs to be your boss.
Right? Like us ADHDers, like we need someone to like wrangle us in there.
Oh,
so
yeah.
What you're going to do when it's just sort of you and you're a solo entrepreneur is that you actually have to realize that this particular strategy does not take that much time day to day. If there's going to be a lot of downtime, so you could literally, and I would make it Mondays because most people have the most energy on Mondays. You could literally, when you're scheduling out your week, make it bundle Mondays, right? So the first thing that you are going to do is you're going to write like a pitch email, right? And you can fit in your Gmail that you're going to use. I always like to make sure that we customize it when you're asking people to join, right? Granted, you have your friends, you can just shoot a DM, or I'm just like, hey, Faith, give me something because this is going on. We do the same thing to each other, right? So you'll get that level of familiarity. But you're going to write this email and then you're just going to send it out to people that also help your audience, but in a different way. The reason why our students have such a high yes rate compared to others is that we make sure that we're like, hey, I know that you have product X. Can I get more people on your email list the next time that you're going to launch that? So we prove that we've actually spent a little bit of time. Again, it doesn't have to be a lot. Jan starts people that you already follow. You can check in with groups that you are like, hey, can I post like an application? So Airtable is like the ultimate blogger runner's friend. Like you're going to want to have that. We make them all for our students. We customize it. We update them all the time. They're great, right? So for the application form, it would be on Airtable. You'd ask, their name, their email address, ask them like what they want to contribute. So you can do it that way. When somebody says yes, same thing. Guess what? You're going to send them a link to an Airtable form. Airtable is going to take their name, their links, their bios. It's going to keep everything nice and separate. You can change the views on Airtable, which is really nice. You'll be able to be like, you can keep track of like who you've pitched, who said yes, but who hasn't given you their deadlines yet. It makes it ridiculously easy to run this bundle. So basically, you Airtable against the world. And then you've got to create like a handful of pages, truly. Like if you're going to go like really like, this is why I love bundles so much. And let me know if you agree as well. You can build on them. So you can keep them super simple at first, right? So it's like the pages that you need truly are a registration page and a claim page. If it's going to be free, if it's going to be paid, it would be a little course inside of your platform that you're using because you want to keep people's stuff, a little safer. So I can handle writing, like notice how we didn't say a wait list. Technically, we didn't have a thank you page in there. It's like I can handle making like 2 pages and you need, your own item that you're going to put in there. But again, while you're waiting for people to say yes, while you're waiting for them to put in their stuff, that's when on your bundle Monday, that's when you're going to work on those things. So Airtable is your best friend for keeping track of stuff. I absolutely love it. Again, it's you and Airtable against the world for world domination. So it can
I feel like Airtable
really
is
nice.
going to clip this and use it in their marketing.
They're like, I'm just saying, like Abby and I love it. And again, we have all of you switch and we filter and we hide things because with my ADHD brain, I can't be looking at too much all at once. It is the best tool for. I know some people use Dubsado, but again, I really just love Airtable.
Yeah, we use it too. What about you, Kelsey? You have some tips. Give us your Kelsey Bentley's quick tips for bundles.
quick tips for bundles. Always share all the information as far as deadlines and promo requirements anytime you're communicating with people, right? Like if you're communicating with them, like you pitch them, okay, great, like make sure that's in there. I've seen people where they have, several emails before the deadlines, but they're not including that information. And then you have to go searching for it. Like the easier you make it for people to contribute to your stuff, the more people are going to contribute and the higher quality of interaction you're going to have.
That's a good point. We got some applications lately. I'm not calling anybody out, but we got some applications in the last couple of months where I'm like, why is this application like 5 parts? I'm like, no, I already sent that to her. And Kelsey will be like, no, there's another application they sent over. And then I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm like, why didn't they just give me like one form? Like they're like, it was almost like a form we were doing every week. I was like, please don't do that.
Yeah, simplified. If you can get it down to 1, maybe 2 forms, if there's like, because usually we have like a free bundle and an upsell or, however you do it. Very simple and like straightforward. Like I know whenever you're planning something, like that is taking up all of your attention, right? Like that is your main focus. It's not everybody else's main focus, and they're going to have a hard time keeping up if there's too many steps.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. I think too, like I would say if you guys want to start doing bundles, like be willing to be a beginner. I like what Kate said about like starting small. And like just so you guys know, like our events, when I started doing summits and bundles and we really decided to make that a big part of this strategy, like we weren't as good at doing them as we are now. Like I had to be willing to like be like, okay, like we're gonna do a summit, I guess. Like I don't know, had never done anything like that. We didn't have Kelsey at the time. It was just me and poor Rebecca, who is I'm like forever indebted to Rebecca for putting up with me all these years. But I'm like, let's do a summit, and it's just me and her. We just like put it out. You've got to be able to put out a beginner version and just know like you get to do it again. It's not the end all be all. It's not like a make or break of your career. It's just one thing you're going to do. Put it out, get the experience. It gets significantly easier. You can speak to this probably, Kelsey. We run a lot of events, but I think it gets easier the more we kind of do them because we have the graphic templates. We have someone come in and help us with graphics. We have more systems for things. We have page templates that we use. And like the first one is going to be the hardest one because you're going to have to make all the assets from scratch. So I would just get that over with if you know you want to do it. And then you'll have it for next time to reuse it and just know you're not going to have to do the same amount of work every time. And then the other thing I'll say is like people have this kind of thought error that is kind of like, this is a lot of work and it's always going to be so much work. And I'll just offer to you, I think the bundles and summits especially have been the easiest thing I've ever outsourced in my business. It is so clean. Kelsey literally tracks your hours. And I'm like, this is what it costs to run the bundle. And then you look at the sales and you're like, and this is how much money we made. So it's like, so we know when we're running them, what it costs me to outsource that stuff and we've never had one run in the red. They've always at most breaking even, if not even made sales. So I'm basically getting paid to grow my email list. So I'm like, why would I not do that? And I think you have to get the experience before you're able to outsource things, right? So I got really lucky with Kelsey because she's so competent and she agreed to come work for me and she's an angel and she like built all these systems. But what you want to do is just run it enough times on your own where you're kind of like, this is how I want things done. And then you assign all those tasks out to your VA. And it is a very easy place you can outsource in your business. Whereas like content creation or posting on social media or even ads can be hard to outsource now because it's so expensive and it can be hard to like make that break even. Whereas this is an easy thing to outsource that can be very clean financially too. And so I wouldn't recommend that for the first time, but just have in your brain, like you're not always going to have to be the one doing all of the things. So I think that's something just to keep in mind as you guys are thinking about doing it. How would you advise people decide if this is a strategy to use or not? You guys have any thoughts about if somebody's listening to this and they're like, well, maybe I should do a bundle. Like, how do you decide if you should do a bundle or not? How do you know if it's a good idea? Like, what are some things people should consider?
I would say just do it. And that's always my philosophy too with summits, right? Like I ran a couple of summits. I love Krista Miller. I'll talk about how cool she is the day I die. She's the greatest. But it was not for me. And at the time, it was just Abby, because it was like so many videos to edit, so many transcriptions to look through, so many pages, right? Forget, right? You've got 25 speakers, you've got 25 pages. If it takes you 6 minutes to customize a page, you've got a billion hours, right? So for us, that was not a strategy that we liked, because there was just the two of us, and Abby didn't have that many hours, and I didn't have that many hours on my brain space.
Yeah.
So the reason why I like the bundles, I would say, if you are, and this is where the getting the help could potentially help. If you're very bad with back and forth emails and like inboxes, maybe this isn't you. However, like running a bundle is an introvert's dream. You never have to go on video ever. Do I recommend having a video of you, or very least a picture of you, so that way everyone who registers for the bundle like knows that it's you and you're friendly and all that sort of stuff, so you stand out? Yes, obviously. But I think that if you are an introvert, this is definitely the way to go, right? Like if you can write a blog post, you can write and keep track of like, oh, it's Monday, I need to follow through with all the peoples that I haven't heard back from throughout the week with my Airtable doc. So I would say, if you really, really hate back and forth emails, maybe not for you. But like, I still think you should try it.
I like that strategy though, Kate, and I think people need to remember that. Like, I think people feel like if I get an email, I have to reply to it right then. But if you're on a long enough launch runway with these things and you've given them enough time, you can just check your email like in the morning on like Monday and Wednesday and Friday or something, and just reply to all of them and clear it out. And it doesn't have to be something you're doing like all day, every day. It doesn't have to like consume your life. Like, put some boundaries up around how much time. I always say, like, if you don't decide how much time you're going to spend on your business, I'm like, your business is always going to want more time and money from you. You have to set some boundaries with the business, right? Because it's always just going to be expanding.
I will say, if you are more established and say like you do have already like a larger list size, right? Like, so say if you've got like 15,000 people on your list, getting an extra 1,000, while it's cool, you might not think moves the needle enough for you. And then guess now you're going to host a paid bundle. And now you are going to get all that money on the front end. I love the free bundles because you can make money on the back end. You can have your tripwires. You can talk about your affiliate links. Because again, people like the law of reciprocity with the free bundle is just like banana pants, right? But again, if you're already sitting at a pretty established business, you're like, well, I don't really need an extra 1,000 people. It'd be cool. Yeah. Run a paid bundle. Have like your easiest 5-figure launch ever. Like, and that's like the other. Or if your brand's making new, you're like, I love the inbox. It's the best. You're going to run a paid bundle and you're going to have your first 5-figure launch, and you're not going to have to do it by yourself.
Yeah, I'll have questions for you about monetization in a second, but I want to hear from Kelsey. Kelsey, what do you think about people deciding to do? How do you know if I should do a bundle or not? Like, what do you think people should consider if they're thinking about doing one?
I mean, I think Kate kind of said it, like, just do it and find out. Like, if you want people on your list and you've not tried it before, I mean, I don't feel like there's really a downside. If you're concerned about like your capacity to run a bundle, just give yourself a little bit longer from when you start pitching to when you want to have your event, right? So like, that's really the main thing, is making sure you have the capacity to do it, to answer the emails, to track people down if you need to track people down. But other than that, I don't feel like there's any reason not to be honest.
So just try it.
Just try it. And if you're concerned about the amount of work or anything like that, make your launch runway a little longer. I will say, I think it's been like 4 years ago, I ran a summit. It was my first event that I ever ran. And I did it by myself, and I did it in 8 weeks, and I had never done it before. And I was like, you know what, if I can do that, and I was working another job full time, it wasn't even my full-time business. And so I was like, if I can do that, I don't feel like there's any reason to not. And I got a bunch of email subscribers. I made some sales on some passes. You know, it was a really great strategy. And like you said before, it really gave me some good relationships with some of the people that I collaborated with. Like, we had some really great conversations, got to know each other a little better, because some of them chose to do interview style. And it was just a lot of fun. And I know I'm kind of like veering off into summits a little bit, but the long story short, just give it a try and see what happens. You know, you could surprise yourself at what you're able to accomplish in your business because of it.
I think the networking stuff, because we all have online businesses, you know, I think networking really gets overlooked a lot in this space. And this is something I talk to people when I'm coaching people that are wanting to pivot. I'm always like, you know, you can always build a network, right? But if you already have a network in a space, it's always easier to launch a business. And when I'm coaching people, like and I'm they're asking me, right? Like if they think it's going to be successful and how long it's going to take. And I'm trying to help them evaluate that. One of the things that I really consider is like, do they have a network in that space? Do they know people in that space? Do they have connections in that space? Because they're way more likely to be able to turn a profit in a lot less time if they're well connected in the area they want to go into. If not, it doesn't mean they shouldn't do it. It just means they need to be aware that that's work they're going to have to go do to build those connections in that network. You need people in your space to know who you are and what you do. You want to have relationships with other people that work with similar clients as you. You want to like be known in the space. And I think you still have to network, even though it's online. It's like, it's just as important, I think, as, any other career. I want to follow up with you, Kate. I'm curious to hear from both of you about like monetization strategies, right? So I think a lot of people think like, oh, a bundle, it's a lot of work. I get some email subscribers. And maybe people will be even surprised to hear me say that I was like, oh yeah, of course we make money every event and bundle we run, even though they're free events and free bundles. So I'd love to hear you talk about that. Like, what are some of the best monetization strategies you use, and do you guys make money when you run bundles? Are you guys breaking even? Like, if you're comfortable talking about that, like what does that kind of look like?
Sure. So there are 3 different types of bundles. And you guys might be like, what? 3 or stuff. So there's a paid bundle, which people have to pay to get access to stuff. Usually it's around $100, but it could be lower depending on how many items you have. There's a free bundle, and then there's a hybrid bundle. And a hybrid bundle is something I would not do first time around, but that's where you have a free level and you have a paid level. Sometimes there's a secret medium level. Like we've got a secret medium level in ours that's coming up in February called the Bundle Booster level, but for a free one. Because let's just say you're like, I'm just starting out. I know I'm not the best at wrangling cats, and I know, and I'm going to just tell you, and Faith can attest to this, and I'm very sure that Kelsey can too. With a free bundle, you can still have an amazing, amazing experience with just 15 people, because you're going to make sure that those 15 people are all covering a different topic that your ideal audience member wants to know about, which means now they're not competing for eyeballs. Whereas for a paid bundle, you're going to want to have more than 15 products, right? But for a free bundle, you can do lots of stuff, right? You can sell on your thank you page, right? Somebody gets your free item and your thank you page has an offer on it, right? You can call it tripwire, whatever you want to. I think that term is gross, but it's just like, hey, how you just got 5 emails?
Is it? God, I never even thought of that. Is a tripwire like when you're in the military walking
it's
through
when
the
you
woods
explode
and
somebody.
blows up?
Yeah, right.
I just now connected those dots.
Yeah, okay, my best friend was in the military, and she almost they almost had it in one. I think that's why I never call them a tripwire. Because
that's
so
horrifying.
It
I
was
never
story. It is
put that together in my brain before just this moment.
You gotta bro mark. It's like, oh, they trip or they explode. I'm like, what are you exploding their wallet out of their pocket? Like, whatever. So that's always like to say an offer on the thank you page, because it doesn't make me feel bad, because I'm not trying to hurt people. I'm trying to help them. So again, if I am giving away 5 free templates in a free bundle, it's a welcome series. I'm like, hey, now that we've got your welcome series taken care of, what about A, B, C, and D? Oh, look, I've got this, and it's this much money. We make lots of money on tripwires. Like, we're talking like thousands of dollars. And you're like, oh, but if people are coming to something free, are they really going to want to pay? Yes, they are. And we found that for our contributors too. Is it going to be as high a conversion rate as you might normally have? Maybe not, but you are going to be surprised how many people are actually going to buy your tripwire, even though they just got 15 other free things. So you can do that. You can have something that we call like a chip-in fee. So for that, you're just like, hey, everyone, like, could you chip in like $15? It's going to go towards ads. We did it 1 year, but we just did it for ads. So like some people will say yes, some people won't want to join. I'm not one. We got pitched a bundle where they wanted like $250. And I just laughed at them. Like, I don't know. But you can do that. You can have sponsorships. And the other thing, and this is why it's so important timing-wise of your bundle, you're going to use this as I call it a pre-launch activity. So say that you know that you want to have a signature offer, or even if it's an ebook that's $12, you really just want to get out there, you're going to do your bundle like a couple weeks ahead of time, right? So you get all these free people, and now you've got all these people to launch to. So you're going to make sure that the item that you have is about that general topic, and your next thing is that next step. So that's where a lot of people are like, oh man, like I need new people to launch to. You can launch to. You can get sponsorships. Another thing, especially for a free bundle, again, your registrants are going to stick around, and they're going to be so thankful that you wrangled all this cool stuff for them that they're going to want to use your affiliate links. So pick like 5 affiliate links that your person's going to use that makes sense for them. That's the stuff that you're going to be like, hey, I know a lot of people are asking how to support the bundle. If you were thinking of buying A, B, C, and D, if you could buy them through my link, that would really help us out. Or we have like an other resources section that we'll talk about, right? So again, if you're in the B2C space and you talk yarn, like don't try to get people to sign up for Thrivecart. It's going to make no sense, right? Like I would try to get somebody to sign up for like a health and wellness thing, right? Because it's not what I talk about. It's not what my brain's going to associate them with. So you can get money on the back end there. Guess what? Because your contributors had such an amazing time with you because you hung out with the three of us, they're like, hey, do you want to promote my stuff? Yes. And they're like, hey, do you want to promote my paid stuff? They'll be like, yes. So the money flows everywhere with the free bundle. And I'm telling you, free bundle people love to buy stuff. They truly do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was surprised by that. And I actually got into selling things. I used to just run free events all the time. Right. And then I started selling like VIP tickets for them. And it actually made us a pretty significant amount of revenue last year. Mm-hmm. And I started doing it because I forget what happened, but there was something that happened where Rebecca was like, we really should make like a VIP ticket for the summit. It's like a ton of work. We've put all this time into it. And I was just like, nobody's going to buy that. I was going to buy the summit replays. I was like, they don't want that. And so I was like, of course, being me, I was like, well, let me like, jazz it up. Let me give them a trial to the mastermind and some of the stuff and some workshops. And like, we made this cute little bundle with the replay and it sold, like, it blew my mind how much it sold. Like, and I was like, oh, like, I was like, they just because they're going to a free thing doesn't mean they don't want to buy something. Like, I had that same thought error too. I think it's been kind of like put out there that's like, oh, people are freebie seekers, like they don't buy. And it's like, they're getting the freebie because they want help with that problem. And like a lot of people are willing to pay to solve if they think it's a good, if you give them something good, like if you give them a really good deal and a really good value. Mm-hmm. What about you, Kels?
Yeah. I think one of the good things that we have done, especially like in those niche bundles we've started running, is we frame it as like, this is your first step. If you're ready to take it to the next level, the products in here are the next steps for you. These are the next steps you need to take. And like you said, people want help with that problem. Like, yes, it's important for them to get those foundational steps to get in, get that baseline information that they need. But we always, like, if it's something we're interested in, if it's something we need help with, we want more. And so we're going to, especially being able to get as good of a deal as we do, because like, since we do have like some requirements as far as the value of things that people can promote, even if they only use one of the items in the thing, it already pays for itself. So if they use 2 or 3 of the things from because we usually do the hybrid bundles, if they are using 2 or 3 of them, it's an absolute no-brainer offer. So I think, making sure that people understand this is the next level of things that you can get. This is the next steps for you to take. People want to take them.
That's a good point about the quality too. I want to talk about that, but somebody put a question in the chat. They said, is there an advantage to using a special welcome series for every bundle rather than just your regular one? So I'm sure they're talking about being a contributor. So when you're a contributor to a bundle, should I make a new welcome series for that bundle? What do you guys think about that?
They answered their question almost. Buy it. So here's what we do. I'm not going to give them, like, say if I'm offering Trello Magic in a bundle, right? Because it's a productivity bundle, so it makes sense. I'm not going to put that person through the normal buyer series because I'm going to assume they have no idea who I am. So I have made a special bundle welcome series, and every bundle we're in goes through that one instead. And so I don't have to name the person's bundle. You say like, hey, like, I'm so excited that we met at Face Bundle. And she's like, hey, so I know that we met at the bundle. Literally, that's the line. So I know that we met at the bundle, and there's a lot of new faces that are popping in your inboxes right now. But if, and then I go into how cool I am, I show a picture of myself. Again, it's really important when you're a contributor, because there are so many other people that they're just getting introduced to, you want to be their favorite. Granted, hopefully your topic is great. And we could talk a whole thing about what to contribute and what not to contribute later on. So I think creating a special welcome/buyer series that you use for all of the bundles that you are participating in, I think is smart. I also think that if you do plan on using being a participant as your main thing, I would have a couple of different items that you put in there. So you're not always putting in the same exact thing. And I think that's what's great about Faith, right? We've been doing a million of them together. We should never offer the same thing every single time, right? It's different. And so I think it's like, okay, even if you have 3 that you rotate through, do that as well if you're going to contribute to them.
I do the same one all the time, but I do like for different ones, right? So if I'm doing one like
Yeah.
again, like because I do a lot with you, then I always give Kate like my best stuff too.
I do that
But I
stuff
have
with
like
Faith too.
but
We're
what
a
you're
little
saying though
biased.
is I don't create something new every time we're invited to something. Like I
Mm-mm.
just have a few and I'll be like, okay, let's do this one, let's do that one, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
What do you have any thoughts, Kelsey? What do you think about like what would you tell people to include in like a welcome if you're in a bundle? Like what should that welcome email series be like, you think?
Well, it's going to be really important, I think, to, like Kate said, introduce yourself. Don't assume that people know who you are, because I mean, from the user side of a bundle, for instance, you know, like there were lots of bundles that just happened like around the holidays, all that kind of stuff. People's inboxes get really full. So you have to remember that like everybody's names start to blur together, and especially if it's like, okay, I signed up for 15 business things and now I've got 15 people in my inbox talking business. Who's talking about what? You know, so really make sure that you're explaining to people who you are, what you do specifically. And one of the things that you talk about before, Faith, is getting people to actually use your free thing. Like they sign up for lots of free things, but make sure that in that welcome sequence, you are encouraging them to go back to it. Like provide a link if you have to, or a login link, or whatever you do, so that they actually use it and they get to know you and get to know why your stuff is awesome and that they want to continue getting emails from you.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. My strategy, first of all, I think there's two things that happen. I think a lot of times people have this kind of thought that's like, I need to like get them to buy something. I'm like, if they're on your list, you're not going anywhere. So I don't feel like I'm not in a hurry. Like I'm always willing to play a long game. And if you have a sales system, meaning you're selling some stuff regularly, eventually they're going to get picked up in one of those sales. So they're either going to go into your flash sale or go into your launch. And so I'm not pressed to like sell them the second they get on the list. And like my strategy is always like, can I get them a result, right? Because I know the more people I can actually help and impact and get results, the more likely they are to buy when we do open cart for something. And so sending them additional resources that go with what they downloaded, sending them bonuses, sending emails with like testimonials of people saying how great your thing is, reminding them that they even downloaded it. I mean, how many of us have downloaded shit out of bundles and like you don't even remember? I'm like the queen of like opting in for everybody's freebies, and then I'm like, what is this? Who are you? Like, I don't even know who you are. Like, I opt in for stuff all the time, right? I have like no impulse control. so I'm like such a digital hoarder for free stuff. But can you send them a follow-up email series to get them to be more likely to actually use the thing and take the steps and get the result? And then I know if they get a result and they get an outcome, if I can get someone to actually go post on TikTok, if I can get someone to actually start putting their product together, if I can get someone to actually look at their numbers in their business or do a planner, like they're going to remember, like that's going to make me stand out over all those other people in that bundle. And I know, because we sell every quarter, we do a huge launch. I know that there's a launch on deck. There's always a launch on deck. We're never not on a launch runway. We're always getting ready to sell something, right? So if I do a good job nurturing them, they're going to go into that sales sequence that I don't really have to think about, oh my God, I have to sell something to them right now, right? Sometimes I'll put a flash sale in there and that's fine. It's always a really good deal. I've been promoting our new offer, Creator Camp, because I just think that offer is insane and like a no-brainer offer. We should be charging way more for that than we are. It's almost free. So that does really well on flash sales. But I think having that outlook of like, not being in a hurry and like being willing to play a long game. I think sometimes the bundles can kind of feel like everybody gets real like antsy to like make sales. And I think that energy can be off-putting to people. I love that you said, Kate, about having a strategy about deciding like what to put in bundles. So I would love to hear your guys' tips for that, because I know Kelsey puts all these pages together, bless her, sees everybody's contributions and stuff. And so I'd love to hear tips from you guys about what do you think like does well? How do you get something that works very well versus like a product that maybe sits on the page but doesn't get that many opt-ins? Like, how do you figure out what to put in a bundle if you do get invited to be in one?
And this also works too for the host, right? Because I also think that you need to treat people a little bit different if they sign up for just the bundle or if they sign up for your thing. Because again, it's that level of interest. Like how much do I think that they're really into learning about bundles, or how much do I really think they're into learning about emails, right? So I do like to treat, as a host, I like to treat those two people separately, just so everyone knows. But for your item, there's a couple things to really think about. the first one that you want to think about is how does it fit into your overall system? What's really nice about bundles is say maybe you don't have any other paid products, you just have this one, or this is the one you want to launch. Now you're going to have a whole bunch of people that downloaded it. Now you can say, hey, it's been downloaded over 500 times, right? So you've got that social proof. Again, your goal is to get people to use it. So maybe you're going to be a little bit more active. Maybe you're going to do a free pop-up action session, as we like to call it, instead of co-working sessions, to get people to do it, right? So you're going to make sure that you have those things in there. So again, I wouldn't necessarily throw in something about like, say, crystal meditations. I mean, I love rocks, but that's not going to lead anyone else to any other paid thing that I have that I can really help them with. So you want to make sure that's something that you want to be known for, in short. The second thing that you want to look at is 3 things in a special item. One, and I really want to see if Kelsey agrees with me, your mock-up. The image that you give of your thing needs to look crisp, cool, and like it's a lot of stuff, okay? If it looks cheesy or bad, and I'm the worst at Canva graphics. I literally have 2 graphic designers that I work with because I'm so bad at them, okay? But like even I could technically get a pre-made template, and they have smart mock-ups in there, and I can click the smart mock-up app and it can make it for me. You need it to look nice and crisp and clean because people are going to be drawn to that eyeball. So make sure it does not look cheesy. And if it does look cheesy, hire somebody just to make your mock-up look really nice. So that's the first thing they're going to go to. Why? Because it's going to prove you're trustworthy. I'm not saying under the hood it could be bad, which we'll talk about that in a second, but make it look nice. Second thing, the title. So if you're like, but I always call it this, you might need to call it something different, or you might need to get a different subtitle. Same thing with your description. I know you're like, oh, it's just another thing I need to do is to fill out this form. You need to make it sound really damn enticing. So even if you keep the name the same, right? Like it's Traillogic. I'm not going to change it because that's the branding for everything. So that's what it's going to be, right? But I can change that first like description title, those first couple of words that are going to be underneath it to really get there, right? Like 10x activity. If you got 18 tabs open, you never get anything done and your socks don't match, this is for you, right? So you want to make sure that the copy that you're giving, that descriptions are really enticing. Usually it's results-based. What are you going to help them do, achieve, fill, have, or avoid? Just not pick all 5 of them, right? Make sure that you can do it that way. So that way it's nice. Again, I know it sounds odd, and Kelsey, I know, because I know you have to test things just like Abby does for me. Make sure your checkout process works. Your checkout process works. Now, we do this on our end because, again, we want our registrants to have the best experience possible. Like, make sure that your email gets sent for yourself. Make sure that your sign-up page that they're going to go to after they click the button, like, yes, I want this. Make sure it looks good on mobile, that it's functioning. I know it sounds so odd, and obviously the host will be testing it for you, but like, make sure that it's there. And I feel like those are the things to really be
your page.
for.
Yeah, most bundle hosts are going to test all that shit anyway, but it makes you look so bad. Like, think about if your stuff goes live and everybody else's stuff is working and yours isn't. Like, not only are you missing out on subscribers, but it's like annoying to people. So like now you're like actively annoying people that might be interested in your stuff. It's just like not a good look. So just, I mean, we're all laughing because it's like we get a ton of stuff turned in that doesn't work that we have to circle back with people and be like, hey, your email's not working. Hey, your page isn't working. Hey, your thank you page is weird, or like whatever. Just have somebody go. We have the mastermind like test each other's where like you have to like test and like sign it off and stuff. But like find someone to test your stuff. Have somebody look at it, go through it, and like just double check before you submit. But I think it's a good point to remember too, like it's not the person with the best product that wins because they haven't seen your product. Like all they see on that page is your image and your friggin' title. And so it's like the people that are getting a lot of subscribers are the people that have a nice looking image and a sexy ass headline. Like that's the game. That it's only competing on that page. They're just looking at that and making a decision if they want to click or not. Looking at that and making a decision if they want to click or not. So if you're not getting a lot of opt-ins, a lot of times we've had people email us and they'll be like, you know, they'll try to say to Kelsey, like, well, I saw so-and-so got a bunch of email subscribers, but I'm like very unhappy because I only got like 30. And we're like, look at your graphic. Like you were on the page with everybody else. They didn't want your thing. Like I can't do anything about that. Kelsey's
right. That's another way to make money. If you're doing a free bundle, you can pay for a better spot on the page. We call that being a VIP. I didn't even talk about this on here. That's going to be a whole can of worms. Faith is always one of my VIPs. But like you could sell one where you're going to give their item more attention than everyone else's. Like that's another thing that you can do. Like technically, it's a mini sponsorship in all honesty, but people get intimidated by the word sponsor. They don't sell a VIP spot. So sell a VIP spot, everyone.
Yeah,
or
that's
buy
another
the
that's another
if you're
good
gonna
revenue thing that we forgot to mention, but we do that
Mhm.
sometimes too, and it does drive
yeah.
revenue. So it'll be like, hey, we're gonna put you at the top of the page. We're gonna mention your link in emails when we send them. We're gonna put whatever, like your extra
Mhm.
graphic on our social media. And it's, $200 or whatever. And so that's a nice
Mhm.
way to like add some extra revenue. My brain is like going to cheese. What were we talking about, Kelsey,
We
when
were
you
talking about what
chime
makes a
in?
good gift.
What makes
And
a good gift? Thank you, Kelsey. Tell us what makes a good gift.
Um, Kate really nailed it all. Honestly, like she nailed it so much. And actually what's really funny is those things, the graphic, and one thing that I think people forget about when they're making their graphic is your graphic's going to be this big on a page. Maybe smaller if it's on mobile, it's going to be about this big. So you're looking at it this big on Canva and it looks beautiful with all your cursive writing and you're not
Yeah, that's a
very
good point.
you're I can't think of the word, but where things are not really contrasted color wise, it looks beautiful. It's clean. When it's this big, it looks like a not a lot, not a lot. And so that's a really big thing. And then again with the titles and the taglines, because like you said, Faith, whenever we get feedback that's like, well, I didn't get very many opt-ins and I was expecting more, I'm disappointed, I always go look at their gift, and every single time I could give them probably 5 pieces of feedback about their image or their title. A lot of times it's the title. Like, do they know what it even is this, vague titles are like the bane of my existence. I'm like, I love that for you, but you got to get really good in that description. Like, you have to tell them why they want it, why it's going to be the best thing they ever signed up for. And a lot of times people, like you said, Kate, people overlook that. They're like, oh, it's just one more thing, or I'm just going to grab a little clip from over here of random copy. And it's like, no, they have to understand why that thing's going to help them, why it's important. And that's going to make the difference between being a successful contributor and not, a lot of times.
Yeah, and your free stuff has to be like damn good too. Like, don't put any fluffy. Sometimes people I feel like sleep on it because they'll be like, "Oh, it's just a bundle. Like, we'll just send them whatever." And this
Mhm.
is what I wanted to ask you guys about too. Is like about like how important do you think quality control is to these things, and like what do you guys kind of consider when you consider like, are we going to let someone put this in here? Like, do you guys accept everybody, Kate? Do you weed people out? Like, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts about like how good should your free stuff be? Like, what's too much to give away? What's like, what should be a freebie? What do you guys think about that?
Go ahead, Kate.
so and this is what we teach our students is we set contribution standards. So we make sure that people are aware of what they are. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not putting this in here if it's a 3-page PDF. One, sting, and two, no one's going to sign up for your stuff and then you're going to have a bad time. So it's literally bad for everyone. And that's what I try to tell everyone is like, while we do our best to showcase our contributors, like, you need to actually sort of put in that work too. You want to be able to, I think that they forget, like, you need to be able to wow the people that you're just meeting, right? I'm never going to ask someone to give away like their big signature spend $1,000 for free. Like, no. You can take parts of that. You can sell the downsell you have to that offer. Go ahead and put it in there. Like, make it something valuable. So again, it's that next sort of step, that big one. But we want to make sure that it's like, it's high quality, right? So when we are doing a free, like completely free, and there is no sort of paid tier, it's not necessarily hybrid tier, we'll be a little more relaxed. We'll be like, look, if you want to take things and make it from your other products, if you want to bundle a couple together, that's fine. We always say that it has to be something that you can, without guilt, sell for at least $50. Right? Absolutely no webinars. We won't allow people to put in their normal webinar funnel or any of that sort of stuff. And like, we'll go and we'll actually look at it. When we do applications, we used to ask people for a coupon code to look at their stuff, but they felt disingenuous because we didn't take everyone and it just felt gross to us. So what we do now with the application process, whether it's going to be like free or paid, is we want to be taken to the sales page. And I know it sounds awful, but like, you can tell a lot from a person's sales page. And sometimes people will send over code, you can check the back end. But it's like, again, if the graphics look bad, if it's half done, it doesn't even load, like, no. We also, like, it needs to be available immediately, like now, like the second that you say yes. Not like, oh, something that I'm coming up with, or oh, no, immediately right now, because I want people, when they think of the Back to Business window, when they think of Kate Doster, they think this is the best damn stuff on the internet. Because again, it matters. And I want you to be able to have the reputation too. So it matters to get in there. So yeah, we do have quality control. We do that. We'll always try to be really nice with people and like ask for other things, right? Or if, say like if it's a student that we've worked with before, like, just so like, I think we need to do this and this, it's not really quite gelling. And then sometimes we're just like, you know what, it's not a fit for us. And I don't think that you'd be able to get the people that you wanted. And I never want to set you up for disappointment. So we'll sort of like set that expectation. But again, I'm not going to let the name of the bundle get dragged down by somebody. I'm sure like this is our biggest we've ever done. We've got 100 and I know it's over 160, I think, people that are in this next bundle that we have coming up. Like it's a crap ton. But like we went through all of them, we signed up for all of them so that way we can see them. And again, we always try to work with our people. Right? We always try to work with them because we want them to feel good. But no, like I'm not gonna put stuff in here that stinks.
Yeah. It can be tempting to when you guys are, if you're just starting a bundle, I think this is an important conversation to have because it can be tempting to be like, well, I want more stuff and more is more and better is better. But your reputation is like all you have. Like it is so important. Your reputation, I think, especially online, like it can be tempting to do cash grab things. It can be tempting to audience grab where we let people in and we're like, oh, this product's not that good, but I really want another person my thing. And like, you never want to do that. You always want to like set really high standards and it might take you a little longer in the short term, but it's going to pay off so much more. The reason Kate can do a bundle and get 160 people is because they've ran so many that were high quality before that. And they've grown every time that she does it. If you don't have any standards and you let your reputation be diluted for instant kind of satisfaction or to be able to say like, oh, I want this many contributors or to hit some weird goal you've set or something, it's going to long-term impact that bundle. You're going to have a harder time recruiting time after time instead of it getting easier and everybody being excited and wanting to be in it and growing a reputation for yourself and your product. You're going to end up having to spend more time recruiting because people are kind of going to be like, I did that one. It's not that good. People talk about that stuff. People ask me, right? They'll be like, did you do this last year? Like I had somebody message me like, hey, like, I know you know so-and-so, like, did you do her bundle? Like how many subscribers did you get? And I told her, I went in the back end and told her exactly like what we got out of it compared to the other ones. And so, everybody's talking behind the scenes. You want them to be saying nice things about you. And what about you, Kelsey? Kelsey's the gatekeeper for me. She keeps all the riffraff out and she knows like, I think Kate is probably a little nicer than me. I'm just like, no, like you can't have crap in here. Like, don't send me your crap.
No, not when it comes to the bundle. When it comes to the bundle, absolutely not.
Like,
people also get her sheriff's hat on. We try to do it with kindness as like a learning option. Like, no, right? Like somebody submitted a product which is really, really cool. It's in the paid bundle, and it's about actually getting paid to be like a traveling tour guide. And she was one of her students, and I told her, I'm like, I don't know how many people are going to sign up for this. Like, are you okay with that? And she's like, yes. We set the expectation. It was a great product. It was high quality, but I'm like, I don't know. We'll see. She's like, all right.
Yeah. That's different though than like putting something in that's like, like a 2-page PDF. I think it's important I always want it to feel like it's free stuff, but I don't want them to feel like it's a landing page of freebies. I want them to feel like they're really getting that extra value. And that's something I learned from Kate and what your team has done so well is like, it always feels like, wow, like these are actual, like I would pay for some of this stuff in here. Like this is actually like really good products. It's like a little bit better than what you would get if you went to everybody's website for free. Mm-hmm. So anyway, Kelsey, what's your kind of evaluation process? How do you keep out the riffraff?
Keeping out the riffraff. I think making sure that things are on topic, right? So yes, we do multi-niche bundles and summits in the mastermind and those go over great. And it's really nice because you do get a wider variety of people. But when you're participating in something, something that is kind of niche, you want to make sure that whatever you're contributing or whatever somebody's trying to submit to you to contribute is not like too much of a stretch to get in there.
It makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, it actually makes sense for the topic. It's going to get them the kind of leads they want because I have emailed people, even mastermind members, and been like, listen, I know who your audience is, and I know you can speak about this thing. I'm sure you can speak about this thing, but this is not going to generate the kind of leads that you're looking for from this particular event. Like, we would love to have you in a multi-niche event, or if we do something about that in the future, that's great. But for what you're doing, this is too much of a stretch, or you're not going to get high quality leads from it. And then also, and I mean, I think most people have this requirement. It is definitely one that we stick to, is not offering anything you don't have the capacity to fulfill, right? So a lot of times that looks like one-on-one offers are an absolute no. Like, that's not going to fly. Even in the VIP, we sell quite a few VIP tickets or bundle upsells or goodie bags, whatever you want to call them. And so you have to think, if you put a one-on-one offer in there, are you prepared for 20, 50, 100 people? Are you prepared to give away that many hours of your time for free from this? Because I would not be. So
yeah, you're like, I'm doing you a favor by not letting you put this in.
You're welcome. I'm looking out for
like,
you.
You don't know what you're doing right now. Like, this is not a good idea for you.
Yeah. So high quality stuff, no one-on-one offers, make it actually make sense. Make it make sense.
Oh, I forgot about the other two things. This is more like legal stuff. Especially like this year, before and years past when it was just free, we let people kind of put in cool things and make. But this year, like, it had to be something that they actually sold. We actually hunted down people's websites to make sure they weren't just lying to it. We don't have to go that extreme. They needed to have terms and conditions like on their checkout page. And even if you're just doing a free bundle where people are going to an opt-in form, because even a couple of our, like, I'd rather do an opt-in form. It's just easier for me to send people the item that way. I needed to make sure that, like, it had a link to their privacy policy. Granted, afterwards, they can have whatever's happening, but I wanted to make sure that, like, my people knew what they were getting into when they were doing it. So I think that's also really important, is to make sure that like legally, like, everything is like nice and in a row and it's cool. And I definitely want to reiterate, absolutely no one-on-one stuff. I'm like, if you want to like raffle that away to like a winner, feel free if you want to do that. No, and that's why we say like, no live. It's got to be something that you've already got.
Yeah, or they're on your email list. You want to sell maybe a discounted package to them, or you want to offer them consults or something, like, knock yourself out. But like in our page, like, you can't be there. There's like really quick, I think we can knock these questions out really quick. Bernadine was asking, where do you put the bundle page? Just a landing page on your site without a menu. I would just do whatever's easier for you the first time. Like, I really would just do, I'm like, whatever's fastest and easiest for you. I wouldn't, it would be great if you could have it on a landing page without the menu or whatever. But even if you had the menu on there, I don't think it's the end of the world. I wouldn't like lose sleep over it or let that stand in your way from doing it. What do you guys think? Your thoughts about where
as long as it's a free bundle?
Yeah,
as long as it's a free bundle. And depending on how many contributors you plan to have, make sure that if you're doing it on your own website, that you're hosting to the poor people, right?
That's a good point. So yeah, you're probably going to get a lot more traffic.
Faith and we use lead pages, because lead pages are our sales trips are never going down.
Well, I'm on Kajabi now, but
oh, okay, you don't have to worry about it. I was like, lead pages, like all this, like my site ground might die, and I'm not going to take that risk. So or again, maybe it's upgrading your hosting just to make sure. But yeah, especially if it's a bundle, like, oh no, somebody found your claim page, through search instead of actually signing up for your form. Your gift is still on the top. Like, everyone still knows it's yours. They're still going to get your stuff. So it's okay. But if it's a paid one, then like the claim stuff has to be in some type of, like, I always say, the course platform, because you need to keep that protected.
Yeah, I would just use whatever's easiest. We make all our landing pages in Kajabi because that's where our stuff is. So we just duplicate pages in there. But wherever your website is that you already know how to use, I would use that. Like, whatever you already pay for, whatever you already know how to use. Like, it's a free thing, right? And it's probably your first time doing it. It's like, that's where it goes. It goes the cheapest, easiest place for the host. And then if you use a page on your website, how do you make sure it redirects at midnight or whenever the bundle redemption ends? Usually on those pages, you can do a countdown timer, or you can sometimes I just like wake up in the morning and unpublish it. Like, we don't have the tech set up. Like, it's not, I don't know. I wouldn't worry too much about that either. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I already have deadline funnels, so I use deadline funnels, but like, we're hosting ours inside of Thrive Learn. So, because you're the boss, Applesauce, I don't want to sit up to midnight. I'm old, y'all. I am 39 now. I can't be doing that. So I made the redemption period 8 p.m. So at 8 p.m., I'm gonna come.
There you go. You could just set it up at the time when you're awake and unpublish or redirect the page. But there's also like in Kajabi and in lead pages, like they have they'll have a
Auto.
countdown timer and
Oh,
they'll be,
yeah.
yeah,
You
it'll
can
just
read it.
automatically, it'll be like,
Mhm.
it'll basically ask you, what do you want to happen once the countdown ends? And it can be like, the options are like, do nothing, go to this other page, delete sections off of the page, like, and you just set it up. So when the countdown timer expires, we just set it up to redirect to the, like, you missed it page, like the bundles over
It's
page
the upsell on it.
with the upsell on it. That's a good hack.
You
There
missed
go.
it, but you can still get this thing.
Yeah, the free bundle's
Yep.
over, but you can still buy the upsell. Yeah, exactly. We do that, don't we? Forgot about that. Okay, I want you guys to plug your stuff. And you guys both have, I know Kelsey has a bundles course coming out. Kate has a bundle program coming out. So plug your stuff. Tell us about any free stuff you have, any paid stuff you have, and tell us where to stalk you on the internet, because everybody should go follow both of them.
Go ahead, Kate.
Thank you. So I'll go first. So I have a free masterclass all about running your first free or paid bundle. We talk about bundle maths. We do talk a little bit more about paid bundles. We talk about free bundles. And what I personally think is the solution of like, which one would you host first based on a couple of different criteria. Again, you cannot pick wrong. The only thing you can pick wrong is to quote Faith, indulge in indecision. Just pick one and go for it. It's all going to work out. So you can head on over to katedoster.com/list. We'll also have Faith linked down below here because she is one of my affiliates and students of Collaboration Captain. So no, Kate, I don't need to sit through a webinar. Take my money. I want this bundle. I want to have my first figure launch. I want to actually get the most important business asset, which is not your email list. And I was like, what? For me, it's momentum. Like there's nothing that is going to spark action that is going to reignite your passion with your business to see yourself go from 400 to 4,000. And I have done that for several students with free bundles, not just one. And they weren't all B2B, like either they're B2C and B2C. I'm telling you guys, huge market for that because you don't see them too often. So you can head on over to katedoster.com/CC for that. With just the letter C is for Collaboration Captain. We're going to give you literally every single asset that you need to actually be running a bundle. We give you all the pages. We give you lead pages templates. We give you Elementor templates. So you can run them on your website. We give you Divi, even though I feel like I'm the only one that uses Divi. So we give you Divi templates. I give you pitch templates on what to actually say to your contributors, how to follow up with people that say yes, but then never show up, what to say to people when gift stinks. Like we literally give you every single resource and we constantly update that. Anytime we run a bundle, we're running our next bundle the week of Valentine's Day, the Back to Business bundle. I have a whole bunch of new assets that we are throwing in because that's what I love about this strategy is you can start really simple with you and 12 other people. And then, nice, thank you. And then you can go off to the races. Like, again, with our 100 plus, I would have never done that for our first bundle absolutely ever. Nope, not for me. But that is what, again, everything Collaboration Captain has. It's got literally everything that you need. And we have a little private podcast to answer questions because sometimes I just don't feel like meeting face to face all the time. So the introvert in me was like, I could do a podcast to answer questions.
I love that. Somebody just put in the chat, it's so good. I just went through it. So it is a really great program. It's kind of like, if you guys know Krista Summit in a Box, where it's like you get like everything you need to make a summit. And she was like everything broken out. The Kate's offer is basically like that for bundles. It's like all the templates, all the stuff you need to do. And if you've never done it and you're overwhelmed by it, it's a really, really great offer. And then and I'll put the link for the free webinar in the chat and we'll put it in the blog post tomorrow too for you guys. If you're listening to the replay, we'll put it in the show notes. And then Kelsey, what about you? Tell us what you got. How can we work with you? Where should we stalk you? Oh, you got to follow Kate's powerlifting. You never plug your powerlifting Instagram stories. It's my favorite part.
Instagram. Hold on. So this is my latest of several trophies. I have a whole trophy shelf over there. So I have one at my powerlifting gym. I have one every single there that I've ever done. So I have lots of trophies. So that's over on my Instagram, Kate_Doster. I only share it on my Instagram stories, and I stopped sharing my fitness journey for a while. And people are like, "You're still doing it?"
I like it. I like watching your fitness journey.
Very motivating.
I think you guys follow it. Yeah, I think it is really motivating.
I squat it. I'm an elite level deadlifter, which is really exciting. So my biggest deadlift as of right now, I'm going to make a video this year. It's 341 pounds. And that is my event. I love deadlifting. So I went through a health journey starting in 2021. And yes, I am a lot smaller. Like I always roll my eyes when I say that. Technically, there's 40% less of me. Like, yes, that's true. But like I can do so much more cool stuff. I'm like, I can lift so much more. I could do so much more. It's the best.
If you want to see Kate lift up some heavy shit, go follow her on Instagram. That's the place.
Yeah. I love it. And that's when
And then
you'll
you
feel
should
my
follow Kelsey
powerlifting.
for her cute dog. She has a cute dog. It looks a lot like my dog.
They're like besties in our hearts.
I
We're like, they're
know.
best
They're
friends,
with
but they
little
don't
old
know
men.
it.
They're so cute. Okay, so tell everybody what about your offers and where to follow you. Blah, blah, blah. I can't even talk. Where to follow you.
Yeah, so because I get a lot of questions about the bundles and stuff, especially like mastermind people are always coming to me and asking questions, and people in general, because I'm always like, hey, I helped plan this cool event, check it out, whatever. People are like, tell me more about it. And so I made like a 20 question starter guide if you want to start running your own bundles. Here are like 20 questions to just knock out super fast, make these decisions, and then you're off to the races. And
Oh,
then
that
you
sounds
mentioned
great.
the bundle course, Bundle Baddie Academy, to become a bundle baddie. And mine is more so about, it's an in-depth how to organize the back end of it, because that is like my favorite thing, is seeing the moving pieces, how they work together, how to make things feel very smooth and organized. And so there's a lot of in-depth training about using Airtable, customizing all your forms, all that kind of stuff. And so there's like step-by-step tutorials. You get like this massive template that has just grown and evolved and become this really thing that I'm proud of. It actually was born at about 1:00 in the morning one night, because I was like, I have to get it out of my brain. I know how this is going to work, and it's going to be magnificent. And so that is out. I'm very proud of it. And then I do have a couple of service offers related to that as well, where you can kind of get some feedback on your bundle, on your forms, your landing pages, and then like kind of some support along the way as you go through running your event.
Like a bundle coach. I love that. Well,
Bundle
Kelsey's
bestie.
the queen, so I don't even know how many events you've done for me, but a pretty significant amount. We do at least 2 a quarter, I feel like at this point.
It's 9 or 10, I believe, I've done for you. And then
Yeah,
I've
and they're
done a
not
couple
small
others.
events. So any of the events you guys have seen from faithmariah.com, Kelsey organizes the entire back end of those, and it's a lot. Like, she keeps a lot of moving pieces organized. They're always really well organized. They always go really smoothly. And we consistently get feedback from people that they love working with us because it's so easy and everything is organized and everything is like, it's very non-stressful. And that's just a testament to her work. So if you're interested in learning like how to create those workflows and really like put together a really top-notch experience for people contributing to your bundles, I definitely recommend you checking out Kelsey's stuff. And then if you just want to be in bundles, you should just come in the mastermind, because we literally put them together for you. We just had the Holiday Abundance bundle, which I think we had like a few thousand people opt in for that bundle. And then we have the Revitalize and Thrive coming, a Next Level Youth Summit coming. And so each quarter, I try to do at least one event for our members that will help them grow their list and get exposure that they can just be in as a participant. If you want to just be in it without being in the mastermind, it's $200 to participate. So we do have some paid spots for some of these things. But as a mastermind member, you just get it included in your membership. So it's a really nice little membership perk, I feel like, that we offer the members, in addition to the coaching and the training and all the other stuff we do in there. So that's that. Do I need to tell them anything else? Oh, you know what I
Don't
was
forget
going
your
to
to be
say?
done week.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So when Kate was talking about templates, I made a VIP offer yesterday like a maniac. I decided, like, all of a sudden I was like, I really want to do a VIP ticket for this. And I have a bunch of really good freebie stuff in the mastermind. Let me pull some of it out. And like, one of the things that is in the VIP ticket for Get Freebie Done Week is mock-up templates. So I have 80 Instagram mock-up templates that look nice. I have story templates in there. So if you're like, yeah, my graphics, when Kate's talking, if you're like, yeah, my graphics be ugly, I need some help, you should get the VIP ticket for $10, because then you get the replays from Get Freebie Done Week. You get all those templates. You get training from me to set up your freebie. I showed you how to make a landing page in MailerLite and what I would put on a landing page and how to make graphics. I literally have like little how-to videos in there. Plus, you'll get the 5 days training replay, and you get a 30-day trial to Creator Camp. So it's a really, really good deal. You can get that right now if you go to faithmariah.com. You just sign up for Get Freebie Done Week. When you guys sign up, there's an option to upgrade to VIP. You should definitely upgrade to VIP, because it's $9.97 right now, which is like, it's worth like way more than that.
Basically for free. It is basically for
Right,
free.
basically
I'm giving
for
you
free.
like $97 of stuff to help you make your freebie, basically for $10. So that is there. Anything else I need to plug, Kelsey? I should have Kelsey come on all my shows so she can tell me everything I'm forgetting.
I think you covered it. I think you covered
Okay,
it.
perfect. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you guys
Thank
listening
you.
like are inspired to try something new and put a bundle out. And I think it'll be, for me, it's like the best thing we ever did for our business. So I mean, it's hard to be like everybody should do it, but I think all of us kind of feel like that because we've seen the results that we've been able to get and other people have been able to get, and it really is a great strategy that is working right now. So if you're feeling stuck, it might be time to look at a different strategy, and this could be something that could really help you get that momentum. All right, thank you guys so much. I will talk to you guys later. Bye, everybody.
Bye.